Ladies and gentlemen, the political halwa served by the opposition on the budget was topped with loud and shrill criticism of it being a biased and a kursi bachao exercise. One that had nothing sweet for the middle class, one that had nothing palatable for the poor. So today when Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman took to the floor, she was ready with a loaded menu of facts. If it was her face palm exasperation with Rahul Gandhi for his halwa and Chakravyu jibes yesterday, today it was about setting the record straight. The Finance Minister not only responded to the India Alliance on MSP, on inflation and on UPA's budgets over the years, she also specifically responded to Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi, who tried to spin the narrative on budget by alleging that there was no OBC or tribal or Dalit officer present in the budget's halwa ceremony. The Finance Minister also sounded a warning to those thriving on the politics of anarchy and instability to steer India away from the Viksit Bharat mission. Listen in to how Finance Minister countered Congress Party's caste narrative on the budget.
If there will be instability and anarchy in the country, their journey towards Viksit Bharat will become more difficult. India's social fabric, parliamentary traditions, economy and the armed forces are all four being severely attacked. Today, through a conspiracy, the fault lines of our society are being exposed. Mistrust is being created against each other in the society through fallacies, lies and deceit. Efforts are being made to create such a situation that even a spark will lead to a lot of conflict. हमारा फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री के इम्पोर्टेंट स्टाफ दो लोग उनको मैं जिक्र करना चाहती हूं सर. ये सेक्रेट नहीं, प्लीज आप सुन लीजिए. सेक्रेट हलवा के विषय और इसमें इतना इमोशन जुड़ा हुआ है, ये समझ में आएगा. सर, रिटायर्ड ऑफिसर उनके पिताजी गुजर चुके थे जब वो अंदर पहुंच गए और बाहर आने का कुछ नहीं है पॉसिबिलिटी. श्री कुलदीप शर्मा जी डिप्टी मैनेजर थे प्रेस का, उनके पिताजी का देहांत होने का विषय उनको अंदर होने के बाद मिला. फिर भी सर वो कमिटमेंट देखिए, वो जब तक फाइनेंस का बजट डिक्लेयर हुआ तब तक बाहर नहीं आया. मैं उनके सर झुक करके नमन करती हूं. ऐसे लोग हैं सर उधर, उनका सेंटिमेंट है हलवा बनाना और बंटवारा करना, उनको नीचे दिखाना अच्छा नहीं है.
Viewers, the opposition had a great opportunity at hand to ask your questions, to raise your issues, to make it about the middle class ke mudde and corner the government on the budget specifically. But they went back to the same old formula, divide and polarize. The entire debate about the budget became about caste and caste census. Watch how the Jati mention triggered fireworks in the house.
सर, देश का हलवा बट रहा है सर, और इसमें 73% का एक है ही नहीं. सर, ये आप लोग हलवा खा रहे हो और बाकी देश को हलवा मिल ही नहीं रहा है. ठीक है सर, 20 अफसरों ने बजट को तैयार किया, हमने पता लगाया है. मतलब हिंदुस्तान का जो हलवा है 20 लोगों ने बांटने का काम किया है. अब स्पीकर सर, उन 20 लोगों में से 90% लोगों में से सिर्फ 2 हैं, एक माइनॉरिटी और एक ओबीसी, और इस फोटो में एक भी नहीं है.
ये वो लोग पूछ रहे हैं सभापति महोदय जो 60 साल से खाते रहे हलवा और जनता को खिलाते रहे बलुआ. मैं पूछना चाहता हूं महोदय, ओबीसी की बात करने वालों से कि 53 में काका कालेलकर कमेटी बनी, 55 में रिपोर्ट आई और 55 से 77 तक 22 साल ओबीसी खाता रहा बलुआ और ये खाते रहे हलवा. 1980 में मंडल कमीशन की रिपोर्ट आई, इंदिरा जी और राजीव जी की सरकारें आई, 10 साल तक ओबीसी खाता रहा बलुआ और ये खाते रहे हलवा. जिन्होंने 4 पीढ़ियों तक खाया है हलवा, वो आज हमसे आके पूछ रहे हैं
जिसकी जात का पता नहीं वो गणना की बात करता है। जिसकी जात का पता नहीं वो गणना की बात करता है।
इनसे ये पूछना चाहता हूं, आपने जाति कैसे पूछ ली, ये बताइए बस। आप जाति कैसे पूछ सकते हैं? आप बताएं, जाति कैसे पूछ सकते हैं? आप पूछ के दिखाओ जाति तुम। आप जाति कैसे पूछोगे तुम? कैसे पूछोगे जाति?
Well, viewers, caste wasn't the only issue used to splice in a divisive narrative. Former Congress Member of Parliament and repeat offender D.K. Suresh once again ignited the North versus South debate by saying that if people of the South are not given their due and are treated unfairly, there could be calls for division within the country. Listen it.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ವಿಭಜನೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈ ದೇಶದ ಜನ, ಈ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಭಾರತದ ಜನ ಬಯಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮುಂದಿನ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತರದ ಅನ್ಯಾಯಗಳು ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ಮುಂದುವರಿತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಗು ಎದೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಹಿಂದೆ ತಮಿಳುನಾಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೇಳಬೇಕಾಗ್ಬೋದು. ಅದರಲ್ಲೇನು ಇದರಲ್ಲೇನು ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಭಿಕ್ಷೆ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ತೆರಿಗೆ ಹಣ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಕ್ಕು.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the legitimate question on the news hour tonight: who's using the budget to divide the country? That's the question, and that's the debate on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Nalin Kohli, national spokesperson of the BJP, Suhail Seth, columnist, marketing guru, Deepak Reddy, national spokesperson of the TDP, Vivek Silas, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. In our studios here with me is Harish Mohammad Ibrahim, political analyst, supports the DMK. But my first question goes to Sanjay Jha, author and suspended Congress leader. Sanjay Jha, I want to ask you, budget is quite the opportunity to raise the issues that have been on top of everybody's agenda. Unemployment, inflation, what have you. But what did Rahul Gandhi speak about? He spoke about Chakravyu. He spoke about Halwa ceremony. He spoke about OBCs, who's going to OBCs, how many OBCs in the Halwa ceremony. Each one of these issues that were raised by Rahul Gandhi were responded to by Nirmala Sitharaman. I want to ask you, what happened to the middle classes? No time? No time, just one mention, एक middle class के छाती में, एक middle class की पीठ में, and then no reference to middle classes. What happened to the other issues of the economy? Zero, nothing. It was only about OBC, SC, ST and caste census. So I want to ask you, when the caste census issue came up today, why did Akhilesh Yadav react in the way he did? When Anurag Thakur did not even name Rahul Gandhi. He said, Jati kaise pooch li Sansad mein? I want to play out a soundbite of Rahul Gandhi from February in the run-up to the elections. What he did to a journalist on the streets of Uttar Pradesh in the so-called Bharat Jodo Nyay Yatra. Listen it.
मीडिया के आप, नाम क्या आपका? हाँ, आप शिव प्रसाद जी हैं. आपके मालिक का क्या नाम है? आपके मालिक का क्या नाम है? क्या नाम है? नाम बताओ, नाम बताओ.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी ओबीसी नहीं पैदा हुए थे. नरेंद्र मोदी जी तेली कास्ट के गुजरात में व्यक्ति पैदा हुए थे.
नरेंद्र मोदी तेली थे, ओबीसी नहीं थे. That's not talking about caste. Asking a journalist on the streets in that crowded area where he was virtually lynched and asking him about his proprietor's name and caste, which was later on, even in a press conference, very nicely showcased by Supriya Srinath, my ex-colleague here in Times Network. You know, when it's asked of you, it becomes a gali. When you ask of the others to divide the society, well, then it goes away scot-free. I want to ask you, Sanjay Jha, how much of hypocrisy can we see on display? Unmute yourself, Sanjay.
Navika, good evening to you and to my fellow panelists. The answer, I think, requires a little bit of explanation, but I'll keep it brief. But this is a very serious debate. We are talking about unemployment and the future of the young generation of India. Here are fundamental points, no rhetoric. The last I read, India's unemployment was 9.2%. Now, it needs to be elaborated. The maximum unemployment is happening in those states that used to be classically called as the Bimaru states. And if you go down into details, the majority of them belong to those who are coming from the marginalized societies, including the backward caste. The OBCs, the Dalits have been at the brunt of receiving unemployment from this government in particular, which has reached a very embarrassing high. I think Rahul Gandhi and Akhilesh Yadav ji have hit the nail on the head. Here are the points. Does Nirmala Sitharaman, as the Finance Minister of India, know that a Haryana youth died? He died in this war that Russia is fighting against Ukraine because he had no jobs in India. There are people who have gone abroad to fight wars. These are graduates who wanted to be in India and build a life, who are going abroad to fight a war they have no idea about and dying. Who's going to take responsibility for it? I think Rahul Gandhi talking about Chakravyuh has upset this government. Of course it will, Navika, because his Chakravyuh talked about a concentration of power. And what did he talk about? He talked about financial power concentrated in the hands of a couple of very big business, which we all know. We don't even have to name them. Secondly, he talked about institutional power controlled by two very powerful people in the BJP. And the third is the regulatory capture, which is about the CBI, ED, income tax, election commission, name it all, the complete destruction of India's independent, democratic and constitutional institutions. Rahul Gandhi has hit the nail on the head. And I'm appalled that this government is trying to deflect from it. I mean, I read the story, Navika, I live in Mumbai, about these young students who died who wanted to appear for the UPSC exams. I don't want to get into a blame game of who's responsible. But can
you don't want to get into it? Of course you don't want to get into it, because your party was hugging them and crying because Arvind Kejriwal is in jail. They were not crying because three of those children had lost their lives, but that's another debate which we'll go to subsequently. But I want to ask you, not one word will you say on the caste and the name that was asked of the journalist on the street? I want to ask you, Sanjay Jha. Right?
Navika,
wrong?
Navika, I think we are missing the woods for the trees here. I'll explain to you.
Are we?
Rahul Gandhi, I agree with you that I do not agree with this question being asked of anybody. I don't want to disagree.
So then why is Rahul Gandhi asking this of others? No, you answered my question. Why is Rahul Gandhi asking this of others but does not want to be asked the same question? And why is it a issue in Parliament when it is mentioned or even referred to him without his name being taken? Nalin Kohli, does that not bring out the hypocrisy? Whether it is on caste, whether it is on MSP, on every issue, the opposition has been exposed. From 1951 to 77, caste was known. Nobody from the Congress party tabled the caste census. From 80 to 90, nobody did. VP Singh came and, put that Mandal commission out on there. And they talk about caste, they talk about MSP when they didn't even get into the Swaminathan committee report. How much of hypocrisy is this country going to say it's enough?
I think, Navika ji, the problem is a little more serious. And I think there's a pattern to this problem. It is about a script being given to Rahul Gandhi ji, and he comes with a script and he speaks a script. And then you need an army of people trying to explain what he did. I mean, Chakravyuh today, yesterday Chakravyuh was in a different context. Today it has become about concentration of power. But this is a daily story. Alu dalo, sona niklega, velocity of escape, velocity of Jupiter, India is a beehive. So, you need a whole army to explain what he does. And therefore, the bundle of contradictions comes out. In COVID, Mr. Rahul Gandhi's own video is available that, look, MSME cannot survive without big business. And he says it very earnestly. He says it very genuinely, obviously believing in it, that, this is what he was explained by somebody, that you need to support big business. Today, Adani, Ambani, and I'll name it, these are the keywords that they will attack. And I wish to ask, how does Mr. Adani, and I'm neither a spokesperson from one group or the other, I'm making it bluntly asking, how does that group become okay if they go for investing and say when Congress state is ruling Rajasthan, or if they go to Telangana? I'm unable to understand this contradiction. So either the leader doesn't know what he's speaking or is not willing to accept responsibility of what his actions are actually translating into. I mean, you pick up a word halwa, halwa, halwa. So are you trying to say that his father, his grandmother, his great-grandfather, they were all against the halwa ceremony? Are you saying that the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation has OBCs and Dalits and others? Show me one. Are you saying that the Congress party's entire budgetary team, whether Dr. Manmohan Singh, his team, whether it was Rajiv ji, whether it was Indira ji, was about caste politics in India? So why these two standards? And I think the question to be asked is, if you are an Indian who loves India, then please do your politics as a responsible opposition. Find fault on issues. Don't trivialize it in a manner that your own issues, that you are seen to be the issue. And I'd like to now take on some hard facts. Let's pick up the last 5 years of the UPA and let's pick up Narendra Modi ji's 5 years. Let me point it out, the last 5 years of the UPA, 11% NPAs of bank. Now 0.6. $50 billion foreign investment during that time. Forex reserves, 350 has come in the last 5 years. Infrastructure spend, 1.5 lakh crores. Now it is 44 lakh crores. I mean, there's just no comparison on anything. Whether it's roads, whether it's infrastructure. Let's take the middle class and the income tax rate. Under the UPA, it was 2 lakh rupees, which was tax-free. Now it is effectively 7.75 lakhs free. So the question to be asked is, just for your sake of wanting power, to what extreme are you willing to go? To what extreme that you will run down the legacy of your own party and your own parents, grandparents, everyone, what they stood for, just because you hate Narendra Modi? So ask yourself this question, can you kill Indian industry by making it a slogan? Are you not playing into China's hands? Then would it not be asked that why did you sign an MOU with the Chinese party? To destroy Indian industry? Do you realize the jobs, you talk about jobs, where will the jobs come from? Will they not come from industry? Will they not come from investment? And I have to say this as an Indian citizen, that your parliament is that forum, yes, for you to raise the questions as an opposition and take on the government. But it cannot be a forum to trivialize India's development for your politics.
I want to ask you, Sanjay Jha, was the Ambani empire something that came into being only during the BJP years? Was the Adani empire only, coming up in 2014? Why are we even going there? You were a merchant banker. What kind of companies were you dealing with? Were you not dealing with these kind of companies then, Sanjay Jha? Or have they been born over the last 10 years? And can we stop abusing industry, because that's where employment and growth really comes from? Have we forgotten our basic economics?
Well, Navika, since my friend Nalin quoted some numbers, let me tell him in the last 5 years, Mr. Kohli, your great government has given India a GDP growth of 4.25% over 5 years. That explains why the young are going abroad to fight wars, while the people are dying in basements getting flooded, while exams are becoming a huge scam, and India's demographic dividend story is dead. You guys have killed it. You have killed India's biggest economic USP. Point number 2, you know why you're rattled? Because in 2019, Nirmala Sitharaman gave India Inc., especially the big business who benefited, 8,75,000 crores in tax benefit over the last 5 years. 1,45,000 crore per year. Can I ask you, where are the jobs? Where is the private investment? Which is why the Indian economy is suffering. The farmers are in rural distress. Do you know that 75% of the ordinary workers have seen a decline in real wages for the last 10 years?
Would you want to,
there is no private
would you
demand.
Want to comment on Adani, Ambani and the daily abuse that comes towards them? Would you want to respond on that, Sanjay Jha?
But let me tell you, Mr. Adani and Mr. Ambani have every right to grow their business if they grow
Can you
it in a level
explain that to Rahul Gandhi?
No, 1 minute.
No. Can you explain that to Rahul Gandhi?
Can I ask Mr. Modi's government, why are there only 3 players in the telecom sector? Why only 2 big business
Why are you
groups and
shifting
airlines?
every single goalpost to make a point? And Sohail said, I'm coming to you, Nalin Kohli, but let me get in Sohail said.
Please, you're giving facts, let me give you facts.
Okay, Sohail is responding.
India was shamed first during CWG. India was shamed because of 2G. India was shamed because of crony capitalism, which was funded, fueled, and took rise under Manmohan Singh's benign government, because you had allies to pander to. So let's not throw the baby with the bathwater. No one is defending this government or that government. For God's sake, we are talking about India. If you hate India so much, don't be leader of opposition in India's parliament. Then go to hell, go out, do whatever the hell you want. I'm fed up of this constant beration by the leader of the opposition. Look at the politics of an Akhilesh Yadav. They are politics mired in gravitas, mired in rootedness, and mired in some level of accountability. You cannot have a leader of opposition who uses the floor of parliament, uses those privileges to constantly abuse India, abuse Indian industry, stoke fires of casteism, stoke fires of, OBC Dalits. Is this what you want your leadership to be? Is this what you want your politics to be? Is this what you want your India to be? When India is on the march, you talk about 4.25%. You've conveniently forgotten that it included the COVID years, where global economies had crashed. No one is holding a brief for anyone in this government. But Sanjay Jha, you have to stop being more loyal than the king. You have to also understand you are a citizen first. You may have your empathy with Congress, or someone may have their empathy with the BJP. I detest all political parties, but I love my country. A, B. I genuinely believe that Indian industry cannot be berated every time because of petty politics. If you have a reason, if you believe that they are not adhering to a level playing field, take them to court. But you guess what? You don't trust any institution. You have abused the courts when they judge, issue judgments against you. Then you start favoring them all over again. You talk about Delhi. Let me tell you what's happened to Delhi. Delhi is a national shame. It's a BJP shame. It's a Congress shame. It's an Aam Aadmi Party shame. But guess what you're doing? You're playing politics. The LG is protesting against AAP. AAP is protesting against BJP. 3 children are dead, and we don't know what the hell to do. But we'll come to that debate later. I have only 2 points to make. The time has come for Rahul Gandhi to exude and exhibit gravitas, to treat Parliament as a sacred institution, and to discuss lawmaking, not to foster and foment law breaking. By constantly raising the caste card, you are dividing an India that you claim to have Bharat Jodoed. So let's not have the hypocrisy anymore. There's no point going on a Bharat Jodo Yatra when in your heart you're entirely divisive, you're entirely denigratory and derogatory about the India that you represent in Parliament as well. This has to stop. Someone has to take cudgels against this. This cannot go on. You cannot abuse the Prime Minister of India every day, because you're not abusing Narendra Modi. You're abusing the office of the Prime Minister. You make fun of India. You make fun of India when the world is admiring India. Is that your spirit of nationalism?
Navika,
is that your spirit of fairness?
Sanjay Jha, counter. Sanjay Jha, counter.
Let me finish.
Yeah,
Let me finish. I did not interrupt you. I'm a better debater and a filibusterer than you. I can continue. I did not interrupt you. Let me finish.
Navika asked me to come in.
No, I don't know who asked you to come in. I'm finishing. So my limited point, Sanjay, is it's not about you and about me. It's not about the BJP or about the Congress. It is about this country. If this country is to progress, we have to get rid of negativity. We have to get rid of divisiveness. And we have to get rid of finding fault with everything. You know, it's almost as if you're living in a society where you are hunting for flaws so that you can bring the country down. Yeah. Now you can speak. Yeah. I'm done.
Navika, here are my 2 points. I heard Sohail. It seems like if you criticize this government, or you comment on Mr. Modi's speeches.
I criticize the government. No. Now do you know how it feels when you're interrupted? I will now interrupt you. I have criticized this government, and I criticize this government every day when it needs to be criticized. but I don't criticize institutions because it's fashionable for politics. I do not allow people to criticize an India when it's an India on the march, and I stop criticizing people because they believe in being critiqued.
Allow Mr. Jha, allow Dr. Jha to make his point.
That's the point I'm making.
Sanjay.
We have to have a civilized debate. I did not interrupt Sanjay Jha.
All right, point taken. So calm down. People. Take a deep breath. Sanjay Jha.
No, I'm already deep breathing. I just finished my Panchkarma. There's more breathing in me than you can imagine.
All right, good for you. Here is my simple point, Suhail. Criticizing the government or telling that Mr. Modi's teleprompter speeches make no difference to the lives of the common people of India, whether they are farmers, the youth, the backward caste, Dalit, etc., is not questioning India. I strongly object to the way you attacked Rahul Gandhi as if as a leader of opposition, he questions the government. By the way, he doesn't just represent the Communist Party. He represents, by the way, a vote share that is 1% less than the BJP. You're interrupting me. Don't do that. You're interrupting me. Don't do that. You need to do some more Panchkarma probably. Here is my second point, Navika. I don't know whether people are hearing me or not.
Yes, everybody is hearing you. Go on, Sanjay.
Here is my second point.
How do you question people? By mocking them?
There is a saying that a true patriot defends his country against his government. This is democracy. We are fighting here for India, and we don't need to be told by anybody in this country.
I'm asking you about the double standards. I'm asking Vivek Silas sitting here. Well, question the government all you want. Please do so. Be our guest and do it every day. It gives us a debate to do. But Vivek Silas, I want to ask you, when you promote caste census, when you say to journalists on the street or anybody walking on the street, तुम्हारी जाति क्या है, तुम्हारा नाम क्या है, तुम्हारी मालिक की जाति क्या है, तुम्हारे मालिक का नाम क्या है, तो फिर आपकी जाति पर बात आ गई तो इतना दर्द क्यों भाई? Why are there such different standards? Number one. Number two, MSP, legal guarantee, हम करके देंगे, और हलवा ceremony, no OBC, no. Look at his own track record. I want to ask you, if Akhilesh Yadav stood up and said that nobody should talk about Jati on the floor of the House, then where was Akhilesh Yadav when Rahul Gandhi was asking everybody's Jati in Uttar Pradesh? Bharat Jodo, Nyaya Yatra. Where was Akhilesh Yadav? Or did it suit him during elections and doesn't suit him because, तब PDA की बात नहीं होगी, अगड़ी जाति की बात होगी, अगर राहुल गांधी की जाति पर आए? What's going on?
I think, Navika ji, you didn't hear the entire debate inside the parliament. It was the chairperson of the Lok Sabha who also said that no honorable member will ask the jati of any other member. That was said by Mr.
So on the streets you can ask.
I think
on the streets you can ask.
Let me complete. Actually, I think Anurag Thakur has lost his mind. He was, Desh ke gaddaron wala mantri. Today he is not a minister. Maybe he has lost his mind. You know what he said? जिसकी जाति का पता नहीं वो गन्ने की बात करता है. Is this the way to talk in the parliament? That is what he actually said. कि जिसकी जाति का पता नहीं वो गन्ने की बात करता है. And we were talking about halwa. गणना की बात करता है. We were talking about halwa also today. You know where is India in the hunger index? It is out of 125, India stands 111th position. That is the bitter reality of the country. And that is what we are fighting for. If you see the poverty rate, it has come down to 5. It has risen down to up to 5% in the country at the moment. That is a concern which we are trying to, come up with in the parliament. It is the frustration of the Bharatiya Janata Party. They have no agenda to say. They talk about the FDI. I will talk about Uttar Pradesh. They say there is a lot of FDI which is being pumped in our country. Uttar Pradesh has got less than 1% of the entire FDI that has been invested in India. Why so? Why so disparity against the Uttar Pradesh government or the people of Uttar Pradesh, from where the Prime Minister himself comes from? That is a disparity we are fighting for. And lastly, I would like to say that why the imports are increasing. Nalin Kohli was talking about the Chinese things. Why imports are increasing from China? That is our main concern. That is our enemy country. We have border issues with them every day. But the imports are increasing day by day from China. We need to stop it. We have to increase our exports. But the Bharatiya Janata Party will never talk about that. We were talking about VP Singh, the Mandal Commission that was implemented in 1989-1990. Yes, I was a very young kid at that time. It was the Bharatiya Janata Party along with the Congress Party who were opposing it. Now, if the Congress is coming to its senses, it's fine. We welcome it.
Okay, it's coming.
Yes, of course.
And asking journalists their jati, you will not comment.
अरे नाविका जी, journalists को तो पिंजरे में बंद कर दिया जा रहा है. अब जर्नलिस्ट की तो कृपा करके बात मत करिए.
अच्छा, ना करें
ना उनको पिंजरे में बंद किया जा रहा है. सवाल नहीं पूछ दिया जा रहा है.
तब तो आपको बड़ी दर्द हो रही थी, मिलने चले गए थे वहां. जब उत्तर प्रदेश में जाति पूछी जा रही थी तब दर्द नहीं हुआ जर्नलिस्ट के लिए? कभी कभी होता है.
उत्तर प्रदेश में तो
राहुल गांधी बोले तो दर्द नहीं होता है, कोई और कुछ करे तो दर्द होने लगता है.
उत्तर प्रदेश में जाति पूछ के एनकाउंटर होता है. उत्तर प्रदेश में कपड़ों से जाति को पहचाना जाता है. उत्तर प्रदेश में नमस्कारी, प्रणामी, जयरामी सब बंद हो गई है भारतीय जनता पार्टी में. यह है कंसर्न.
नलिन कोहली.
See, that's the confusion and that's the hypocrisy, that's the double standard. चीन के ऊपर क्या कर रहे हैं आप? What are you doing about Chinese exports? लेकिन भारत के उद्योगपतियों को गाली दीजिए, रोज उनकी तौहीन करिए, मजाक उड़ाइए.
हाँ, आप उनके
कर्जे माफ में उद्योगपति बनना क्या पाप है? वो लोग तो चीन के साथ लड़ रहे हैं. नहीं, कर्जे माफ क्या होता है आप बताइए. आपने पूरे एक मिनट बीच में मैंने तो टोका नहीं, आपकी पूरी बात सुनी. बोलिए. अभी राहुल गांधी जी का ही वीडियो देख लीजिए ना. क्या रे मदद करिए उद्योगपतियों का. वही कर्जे माफ जो आप कह रहे हो, कर्जे माफ नहीं. आत्मनिर्भर भारत में फैक्ट्रियां बंद ना हो ताकि लोगों की नौकरियां चले, अर्थव्यवस्था डूबे नहीं, टूटे नहीं, उसके लिए किया गया था.
देखिए
उस समय अर्थव्यवस्था बची अगर कई देशों की तो उनमें से भारत एक है.
ये देश की जनता आराम से देख रही है और पूरी तरह समझ भी नहीं.
ना छोड़िए, हिंदुस्तान को बेच के, हिंदुस्तान को विभाजित करके जो 47 में हुआ, 2022
को आप बेचे, रेल को आप बेचे,
समाज को विभाजित
बड़ी
यहीं पर
संस्थाओं को आप बेचे.
दुश्मनों की जरूरत नहीं है जिस प्रकार से
इल्जाम है वो विपक्ष पे लगा लें. वाह, ये तो कहीं से जस्टिफाइड नहीं हुआ ना.
संस्थाओं क्या बोलेंगे? अरे ये हालत हो गई है कि आज जो है भारतीय का पाप हो रहा है. संविधान को उठाते, संविधान की कसम खाते.
अरे उद्योगपतियों को बढ़ा रहे हैं तो और भी
बात नहीं करते.
और उद्योगपति खत्म हो गए देश पे.
लो अब आगे, अब 2 है, कल 2 और कर दीजिए, परसों 3 और जोड़ दीजिए.
अरे सबको बढ़ाइए,
6 और जोड़ दीजिए. तो उन लोगों को आप लोग क्यों उनकी शादियों में जाते हैं, क्यों उनको बुलाते हैं आप लोग निवेश करने के लिए जिन राज्यों में आप लोग सत्ता में होते हैं? जहां सत्ता में वो लोग अच्छे हो जाते हैं, जहां सत्ता में वो बुरे हो जाते हैं.
This is about the country. You are only worried about Uttar Pradesh. You will be only worried about one caste, not the other. You know, this is the divisive agenda. And Deepak Reddy,
झूठ बोलने की तो कोई सीमा ही नहीं होती है.
Deepak Reddy,
कौन बोलता है, सब जानते हैं.
1 minute. Deepak Reddy ji, the issue here is the economy. The issue here is the rights of the people. The issue here is keeping the country together. Bharat Jodo, just a tagline of a yatra cannot actually bind Bharat together. What it requires is treasury benches and the opposition benches come together to take the country forward. But what are we seeing? Are we seeing political point scoring at the level where it is actually beginning to hurt the country? And I want a serious question. On the one hand, you'll have somebody from the Congress saying that if the South doesn't get its demands, we will break away. Is this the kind of divisions that we want in our country? South and North should be separate. Caste should be fighting with caste. Religion should be fighting with religion. Is this the social fabric which is at stake now, as pointed out by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman?
Very good evening, Navika. I've been patiently listening to everybody for the last half an hour, so I would request not to be interrupted for some time. The point here, I think, is how seriously can we take Rahul Gandhi? I mean, that's the question I would like to start with. The Speaker has clearly told Mr. Gandhi that he has to read the rule book once, Because even like a basic thing like holding up the posters and flyers, these are like fundamental rules. He seemed to not understand those also. The only thing I understood from his talk is he very well understood about eating halwa. That is his level of understanding of the budget. And then getting about caste of the 20 officers who were present in the photo. They have nothing to do, that has nothing to do with the caste. So on one side is this low level of understanding, and the other side a crooked intention to get divisive politics and divide the nation on the basis of caste, religion, and then region. So this is the kind of a politics what they have been playing. And now coming to the Chakravyuh and Padmavyuh, he was telling 6, somebody was prompting him, no, it's not 6, it's 7. He refused to accept that because it was not written in his script. So he wanted to portray himself like Abhimanyu, but what he came across as something between a Pappu and a non-Hindu. Now I want to talk one thing very seriously. I mean, he likes to be addressed as a 54-year-old young dynamic Congress leader. So I want to take him seriously. So I want to ask Mr. Jha, who is officially divorced from Congress, but in an unofficial relationship with them, when would they stop calling him, at what age they would stop calling him a young leader, so that I would like to take him seriously.
Sure. Let me answer Mr. Reddy. Mr. Reddy, when you tell the viewers of Times Now today as to does Mr. Chandrababu Naidu still think that Narendra Modi is a terrorist who's destroying India's constitution and democracy? Please answer that. Let people see the hypocrisy of your party. You are in bed with the BJP, the very party that you actually were forging an alliance with in terms of the opposition. Mr. Naidu was leading an entire movement for opposition unity to defeat Mr. Modi. So obviously you guys are as opportunistic, brazen, crude and vulgar as anybody. But for you to call Rahul Gandhi,
don't feel bad. Come to the point. Don't feel bad. Come to the point.
The more you
We're talking about Mr. Gandhi and how seriously he has to be taken.
Rahul Gandhi, the more it's going to come to bite you. The story has changed, my dear friend. The story has changed.
I want to know when he's not going to be a young leader and when I should take him seriously.
He does not need a script actually. He's speaking from the heart. He's representing the voice of India. Rahul Gandhi today has become the voice of the poor.
Somebody were telling him it's not 6, it's 7. But he refused to accept that in spite of somebody prompting him. So isn't it out of the script?
Mr. Reddy,
isn't it his lack of knowledge?
Crony capitalists.
On a lighter note, Mr. Deepak Reddy is the voice of India, not the ears of India. So he's not listening to what people sitting next to him are saying. He's only the voice. But let me get in Harish Ibrahim. Harish, do you think the solution to solving the problems of India lies in dividing North and South as two different regions? Is that the recipe? Is the recipe within India to find solutions to unemployment, inflation, is actually through dividing people through caste divisions? Where is the solution and what are the highlights of the debate in Parliament? Can you see anything that comes out as a solution to take the country forward, not break the country in the manner in which everything was debated in Parliament?
No, first of all, I was so astonished to hear Mr. Sugail and Mr. Nalin Kohli's data, which has been a falsehood nearly, because until UPA 1 and UPA 2 2014, the hunger, the below poverty line was almost 38 crore. And now, after 10 years ruling of NDA 1 and NDA 2, and now it is an NDA 3, it has been almost 87 crore, which is double. So their entire narrative of making sure that the finance minister has been presenting an awesome budget is completely false, number one. And number two, coming to your story of dividing North and South, the people of South have paid a direct and indirect tax of almost 22.57 crores in the last 5 years from 2018 to 2023. In returns, what the central government has given back is almost 6.75 crores, which is way below then. For instance, if you take the UP alone, it has paid almost 3.57 crore from the 2018 to 2022, which in turn it gets almost 6.91 crores, 6.91 lakh crores, which means for every 1 rupee they send, it is almost they got returned 2.2 rupees. But where in Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Kerala and Karnataka, the entire story is different. Tamil Nadu gets for every 1 rupee they send through the direct and indirect taxes from 2018 to 2023, it got only 0.28 paise. So when you have these kind of disparity between the north and between the south, then what kind of politics you want the Tamil people or the Telugu or Andhra, Karnataka state government should represent in the parliament? And number 3, when it comes to the caste-based division, Tamil Nadu stands as the
infrastructure projects that come up in the south of India which require limestone from Rajasthan because cement is made from limestone, then should Rajasthan charge you separately for all of that comes? What kind of an argument is this, Suhail say?
This is not fair,
No,
Navika. You haven't interrupted Mr. Nalin or Mr. Sugail.
I think Harish's point about the north is benefiting more than the south. The debate, has
moved.
moved.
45 minutes hearing every one of them, and you are not allowing me to finish for 2 minutes. Is this fair?
Okay,
really
please finish.
To conduct a debate like this? You have made me to wait for almost 45 minutes listening to everyone, but you are not allowing
Well,
me
I
to
think
respond
your watch is not working.
This is
but
not fair debate.
You made a point. I'm getting Suhail to answer. What's the problem?
Come on,
That's how
come on, Navika. I don't want these kind of rhetoric. Please listen to the facts.
Okay.
Please listen to the facts if you are really wanted to have a fair debate. So in the social index, Tamil Nadu stands tall across India. We are the GER number 1. We are the GSDP. We are the highest paid GSDP, almost 7 lakh crores to the entire center. And in turn, we have been getting 0.28 paise. With that, we have been doing all kind of social development index in Tamil Nadu state. And the Tamil Nadu state government had made sure the OBC reservation of 27% through our legal team to make sure the entire Indians gets benefited out of it, right? And why this social development index is possible only through the caste division is Tamil Nadu stand as an example. You have to make sure what level of help is needed to the particular strata of people, and only there the Mandal Commission reports comes to an effective results which you can see it over the Tamil Nadu,
all right. So you're saying South is being dealt a raw hand. Well, I think if every state starts charging according to the raw materials, minerals that exist in those states, and then start discussing mera itna, tera itna, will we be able to have an India and a social fabric that can be held together? It's really a point that goes beyond just data and statistics. And Harish, I would say this, that yes, that is why what is important is the Niti Aayog meeting, where opposition parties choose not to come because they are more busy doing their politics. The fact of the matter is, you will not take these issues because you are busy playing politics, but you want everything as a right to come back to you. I'm completely out of time on this debate. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much to all the panelists joining me on debate number 1.